everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I have a review for the first 3 episodes of HBO Max's Tokyo Vice. Now, Tokyo Vice is produced, and at least the first episode is directed by Michael Mann. That name sounds familiar to you. You should know him. He did Miami Vice, for one. He did the legendary, all-time great movie, cop movie, Heat. Michael Mann has done a lot of great movies over the years. Like he is the, for lack of a better phrase, Michael Mann is the man. So when you hear something like Michael Mann is making this, you get a little excited for it. And so long story short, Tokyo Vice is about Jake. I believe his name is like Adelstein. Hold on, let me look at his name real quick. It's like Jake Adelstein. It's the loosely true story about a guy named Jake Adelstein, an American boy who goes over to Tokyo, and through sheer great determination and his own knowledge and will, not only does he learn the language there and how to write in the language and learn the language in general, he is so impressive. He's the first American-born man, foreigner, in fact, at all, like not even American, just foreigner, to ever be qualified and join like the biggest newspaper they have over there in Japan. I can't remember what the name of it is, but he joins the biggest newspaper over there in Japan, and he becomes like and he starts writing for him. And first thing he's tasked with is following Tokyo Vice. And most people know that Vice, the Vice areas of things are more like drugs and like some of the more brutal and more like awful things, violent, some of the more violent things. And he's tasked with joining that. And of course, Jake comes over here, he's clearly running away from something. Now, it's made abundantly clear up top that the reason Jake is in Tokyo is a plethora of reasons. Mostly, he's running away from his problems. It's complicated, but in general, he's running away from his problems. He's into Japanese culture anyways. He's one of those guys. He's into anime and a whole 9 yards. He's into those things. So he figured, well, this is a place I appreciate most. I'm trying to get away from whatever life I had back home, even though it's clear that, it couldn't have been that. Like, I will say, I am a bit conflicted about his motivations to leave, to come to Japan, because they do seem rather selfish, because it's not like his family's dead or crazy shit like that. It's nothing as dramatic as, his family's dead, or it's like, no, man, he didn't like his situation for one reason or another in America, and he just said, I'm gonna just get the fuck out of here. And I've often said that all the time whenever I'm talking to someone who is in a bad place in their life or mind or something. I always say, dude, you could just leave. It's kind of a crazy concept to some people. Like, the idea of just packing your shit and leaving is just, sometimes it seems like a very difficult thing to wrap your mind around. But anytime I ever see someone in a tough situation or a tough spot and they don't know what to do and they're like, I don't know what to do in my life and I don't want to be here. And it's like, dude, well, just leave. You know what? Pack your shit, quit your job, move to another state, and start over again. But you don't want to do that, so clearly whatever you're dealing with ain't that fucking bad. That's usually what I say. So hey, kudos to that dude being like, I don't like the situation I'm in. Kudos to Jake being like, I don't like the situation I'm in America. For whatever reason, whatever he thought, I don't like it, I'm getting the fuck out of here, and then leaving. So he just left. And he wanted to be a part of this major newspaper in Japan, and he made it. And there's some hazing a bit. There's some tough times a bit, because Jake's our main character. There's a tough time, obviously being a foreigner and in some place like Japan, there are gonna be people who are nice to you, and there are gonna be people who treat you like you're a nuisance. There are gonna be people who treat you like clearly him being white, because Jake is white. Him being white does him no favors in Japan. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny watching. Him being white does him no favors in Japan. Because, while little girls might be like, little girls might be like that, everyone else, either they treat, it's either two ways he's treated in the show. Either A, they treat him like anybody else, and, kudos, they treat him just like anyone else. You're a man just like I'm a man. Doesn't matter where you're from, And some of his friends and, even his colleague, that's how they treat him. But then there's another half of people who treat him because he's like shit. Because they treat him he won't even say nothing. I'm just saying, he'll say some shit it'll just like this is a metaphor. This doesn't happen in the show, but stuff like this happens in the show. Well, he'll do something simple, and they'll be like, "You think you're better than me? You think you're better than me because you're from America? You think you're better than me because like he didn't even say anything." So like there's a bit of that too. And they really hammer home just how culture shocking it is to be like an American-born person raised in America, never fucking been in Japan in your entire life, and you just whole hog move completely to Japan with no what's the word I'm looking for? No timetable or when you're ever gonna move back. Like it's a totally different experience. And needless to say, Jake really wants to break out because he's a newspaper man, and he said that he talked to his father, and his father said that's where the truth is. He's like, I want to really find out the underbelly. That's why he was in Vice that's why he was following Vice in the first place. Kind of worked out that way. He's like, I really want to find the truth behind what's going on. But as we slowly discover over the course of the show, there's more going on in Tokyo than it appears. There is some tension between yakuzas. There is interesting ways the police handle everything. Like there are rules, because we're following the story with him, because he doesn't know the rules to this world. He doesn't know what you can say and you shouldn't say. And I will say, it is awesome. And to me anyways, I am enjoying, one aspect of the show that I greatly enjoy is slowly seeing him not only understand Japanese culture and understand what people mean and understand people, but slowly seeing people see him as more than just the white dude who's here. You know what I mean? Out the American, because in the beginning that's basically what he is. But when you slowly, over the course of the 3 episodes, at least by the time you get to the 3rd episode, he has friends. His superiors don't just see him as just the white dude who's here. They see him as another, like any of us. And I love that. I really do. Granted, there's a character who's clearly probably his love interest who shows up in here. And it is funny that the love interest he has just so happens to be the random white girl, the random white blonde girl who just shows up. It's kind of funny, It seems like there might be some tension there too. I am so fascinated for where the show is going, because it's one of those shows that do that weird thing where it shows you the end before you see, and then we kind of step backwards. They show you where all of this is going to conclude at before stepping backwards. And because the first part you see is him and Kim. Oh, by the way, what is his name? Is it Kim Watanabe? Yeah, Ken Watanabe. Okay, I had it right. Ken Watanabe, aka the only Japanese dude Hollywood knows. Every single fucking time there is something big, movie, film, show, whatever, that involves Japan, that is made by Americans, fucking Ken Watanabe is in it. He is in every fucking thing. It's so hilarious to me. It really is. Every fucking thing. It's every time. Every time. I am shocked he wasn't in Snake Eyes, but maybe that's just because they couldn't get him. You know what I mean? It's funny to me. It's just funny to me. I was like, of course Ken Watanabe is in this as the grizzled cop with the heart of gold, or at least a good heart, like the grizzled cop who's been worn down by the system, but he has a heart, And him and Jake working together, they have an interesting dynamic, very interesting dynamic. But like I said, it's funny Ken Watanabe is in this. But overall, now this is more of a mystery. This is more of an unfolding thing, because there's this mystery about all these people killing themselves. And these people, and it kind of comes into focus at the end of the first episode, because the first episode's mostly just about setting up Jake and setting up his situation and setting up how frantic it is and how difficult it is for him to be. It's just more focused on him and his life and his life. By the time we get to the end, we really start to get into this idea that some corporation is responsible for the suicides of who knows how many people, 2 that we know of so far in the show. And Jake wants to investigate it. Jake wants to investigate it. Of course, these people don't want him to, because of course they fuck you, you're new and you're a foreigner, so you don't get to just investigate whatever the fuck you want to investigate. You write about what we tell you to write about. Okay. And eventually he ends up teaming up with Ken Watanabe's character because he shows that he has grit. Because you know, it's clear Ken Watanabe's character is a good judge of character, and he figures out that this kid, he might be able to make a difference. He might be able to do something with this information. But it's pretty clear that apparently in this world, in this version of Japan, who knows if it's like that in real life, there's an ecosystem between all these Japanese clans and the police. Essentially, the police will look the other way as long as the Japanese clans keep their activities and violence to a dull roar. It's like, if we catch you, we're gonna take you down. But we're not gonna go out of our ways to catch you. Because we know that if we started with you, then we start shooting, then our cops are gonna die, then your people are gonna die, then someone's gonna die in the crossfire, and it's not worth it. That's basically what the cops have said in this world. It is not worth it to get in a fight with these criminals. So, you know, there's this ecosystem, and clearly Ken Watanabe's character is like, yeah, but we can't ignore every fucking thing. You know what I mean? We can't ignore everything. You know, when there's clear evidence that there might be something weird shit going on with these gangs, we can't just pretend like all of it isn't nothing. And there are really interesting side characters and different characters going on their own paths. This really is an interesting show. I rather enjoy it. I would give Tokyo Vice an 8 out of 10. I think the acting's phenomenal. I think the way it's shot is great. I think this interesting mystery behind these murders is an interesting take. I think the culture shock aspect of it is also pretty fun. I think there's a lot to like about this show. Now, I am going to hold my judgment for the show completely until it wraps. I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, but I rather enjoyed HBO Max, the first 3 episodes I saw of HBO Max's Tokyo Vice. Anyways, if you're if you're into crime, if you're into that kind of thing, that crime or like cerebral kind of thing, this is your show. Anyways, thank you guys again. Join me on the Comic Game Movie Show. I will see you in the next one. Please remember, like, subscribe. See you guys again.